gambling becoming a problem in the Northeast? More and more young people are gambling. Over a quarter of the people in this region say that they've placed a bet in the past week. With Sunderland Football Club at the heart of the city, football plays a huge role in gambling. Many people place bets on games. At a match, we asked young people how they feel about gambling.
I go for like just a 3-1 for Sunderland.
I like a bet, but I don't bet big. Small stake, big wins, that's my aim.
It's okay, but when you're not getting any enjoyment out of it and you're constantly going in the dead, you need to stop.
I get why people do it, but like when it goes crazy money, I just don't get it. Like, why do people do it? But if it's like, if you put in £5, I don't mind that. But it's when you put expensive money on, I don't get it.
If you've got the money to do it, you can do it, but don't waste money that you haven't got.
Like, waste the money, but if you win it then you're laughing, so 50-50. I mean, if you've got the money to spend on it then you're alright, but if you haven't then no point doing it.
So it's not only affecting the older generation. Younger people are also susceptible to gambling and its effects. It's become a major part of the gaming industry, which is very popular among the younger generation.
It's so easily accessible. So if we look at the internet, online gambling, even sort of games, where you computer games where you fight for coins, you fight for treasures. This is all a kind of trying to gain. So Bejeweled Blitz, I think is one of them's called, or Candy Crush. It's all sort of gambling, then the advertising comes in. There's still ways that kids can become accessible to it, so it can be risky.
So why do people gamble to the point of addiction?
What started out as a lot of fun quite quickly developed into probably a problem without me even realising.
The one I'm going to talk about, he's 23 years old, so he's 1 year older than me. He's been gambling for probably 7 years now. Like, you can gamble when you're not 18 in Sunderland. If you go into the bookies in the town, they'll not ask for ID type of thing. When he first started gambling, it was kind of like small bets, maybe £5 on football and stuff like that. But since he turned 18 and got introduced to the online gambling, he started gambling a lot of money on stuff like roulette, just stuff where it's very easy to lose a lot of money very, very quickly. There have been instances where it causes like huge problems in the family. Like there was one time he's about to go on holiday with his girlfriend, and the night before he went and spent all his wages gambling, lost it all. There was huge issues with that. He doesn't get anything out of winning the money. It's like the buzz of actually winning. Like the money, when he has a big win, it doesn't really mean much to him. He'd rather gamble it all again to like get that feeling of winning. It's really, really weird. I spoke to him about it one time, and he kind of says it's not about the money, it's like the buzz you get from it. I suppose that's what he's addicted to, really. I think within Sunderland as well, I think there's a big issue with gambling in the Northeast. There's like a gambling culture almost, like it's normal. You're almost like weird if you don't, sometimes I feel. Especially with the whole football environment and going to matches and stuff like that, sucks people in too. But it's just scary to see from other people how much damage it can do and like hurt relationships within the family and stuff like that. And it's a lot deeper than just losing money, really.
There is help there. The first thing to recognise is who's in control of this. Is it the gambling or is it myself? And is it creating chaos in my life?
We've spoken to somebody who's chosen to stay anonymous about their gambling addiction.
Did you realise at the time that you had a gambling problem?
I used it as a way to sort of get away from everything. So I'd sort of venture to the casino with a couple of friends, new friends this time, so they weren't even rugby players now. It was just sort of something I used, like I said, just to get away, go and do what I want to do, have a bit of fun on the machines, have a bit of fun, trying to win money with the sort of that adrenaline rush that you get, which is, sort of similar to the sporting aspect of it. As a competitive guy, I've always strived, you always, as a competitive, that's what you get into rugby for. So basically, that went on, bloody hell, that's been going on since I left there till a couple of months ago, where it had to stop. It was ridiculous. I was going on my own, I was spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. It was affecting my mood massively. The casinos and the bookies, because I found it acceptable. I found it that comfortable place to go to, which obviously at the time you don't realise how traumatising and how much that affects you as a person. I was unable to get my motivation back, get my mojo back with rugby.
Looking back, how does it make you feel now?
But at the time, I thought it was totally normal, and I just blame everything else, bar actually what the issue was, which was gambling. Looking back, it actually makes me feel very sick, thinking about how much I spent and how much time I spent in those places rather than going out and trying to live my dream. I saw counsellors. In the last few months I've been seeing a counsellor just to talk about all my problems, not just gambling, just in general life, but it tends to be the only thing I talk about, which is gambling and the effect it's had on my general life motivation. I've been down in the dumps for the last few months. So the knock-on effect of what seemed to be a fun and enjoyable game back when I was 18 actually turned into the one and only thing that I did for the last sort of 2 years. I'd find any excuse to go to these bookies for hours on end. It was the only thing that mattered, whether it be a family event on a weekend or whatever it was. I'd find a way to go to the bookies most days, till the point I'm at now, or where I was a couple of months ago, where I sort of found a new lease of life after seeing a counsellor. I realised, oh my god, this can't go on. And since then, I've never looked back. Honestly, it's hard to describe, really, apart from the fact that it ruined my life for 2 years. But I'm glad that I've come to terms with it and realised how detrimental it would have been to me if I was to continue on.
So how should the issue of gambling be addressed?
Any kind of addiction, any kind of problem that people face when they find themselves drawn to something to get a fix from, to get a hit from, to get a fulfillment, something where they feel bigger and better. You know, often, like I say, it is that sense of trying to search for something to fill a void within themselves because life experience has affected them. But if we really manage to get mental health support available for everybody, then these deep-rooted issues can be addressed, and then you'll find it sort of spreads out. Gambling will reduce because people feel, I don't need gambling. You know, I've got this joy from life. I've got this fulfillment from going from a walk, from going and breathing in the fresh air, from a walk in the countryside. I've got this fulfillment from spending time with my family. You know, spending time with our kids, our parents. So if we really sort of get people to embrace life, then we'll realise that there's no real need for the addictions.